Hey, what's going on? Ryan here, setthepacetriathlon.com. Doing a different kind of video today. Not talking about a specific course. We'll give you some an example. Not talking about a specific event. Not talking about event schedules or courses or course reviews or triathlon tips in general. What we're going over this time is what I offer in my um, coaching business. I do coaching. I do one-on-one. I do kind of semi one-on-one, and I do a monthly just online club where you get a little bit of access, a little bit of support, but it's not the full-blown one-on-one coaching that just a lot of people don't have the resources for. So what I'm going to do is I'm opening it up this year. Here we are at the fall. I'm doing Ironman Chattanooga in a few weeks, and a lot of people are wrapping up their seasons. Chattanooga's coming up, Waco's coming up, Arizona's coming up, Florida's coming up. So after that, people go into the off-season mode, and some people just go no-season mode, or some people do an off-season, but it's unstructured. They don't know really what to do, because when you roll into it, we got Texas coming right back up. We got Tulsa coming up, 7.3 Des Moines, 7.3 Morro Bay just got announced. Boulder 70.3 has been moved to June, so you got all these races popping up in the spring. So if you're not staying on top of it, suddenly those races kind of come up out of nowhere, and you're like, oh crap, I gotta start from scratch my training plan. So a lot of people come to me with like, how do I make sure I maintain some fitness or even gain fitness over the off season to make sure that I don't have a fall off, and then when I start a plan, I have to start from scratch. I like to see a lot of athletes over the off season, they improve their FTP, they improve the VO2. Well, just how do you do that? Well, I'm going to go over real quick in this video how to do it. If you got any questions, put it in the comments. I'll see them while I'm doing this live. If you see this replayed later, put in the comments too, and I'll be able to get back to you as well. So, I'm going to dive into it. I'm going to hit a couple points of how I see the best route. And like I said, I'm going to use like Texas, Tulsa, all these spring races coming up as an example in 2023, but then it can roll over into when you're in the fall of 2023. I know looking a year in advance, but when you're doing a full Ironman race, you kind of have to plan a year in advance because it's a lot of logistics of just signing up, hotels, all that kind of stuff, and then training, and we're just making it work. And I know on long training days, I have to do a lot of planning, a lot of communication with the family to make sure that everything is covered, to make sure the dogs aren't bored all day if I'm out for a long training ride, or we don't have any family activity scheduled, we don't want to do a vacation at the same time I want to do a race. You're looking at this stuff like a year out, so now's the time to really get in there and start digging in and figuring out your plan, coming to the off-season program. And it's not to say you even have to do, it's nice just to have a program to pick and choose, like, stuff's going on, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, all this. It's not set in stone, but it gives you at least a little bit of a guidance, a framework to know where you're at in your training, to know if, like, I'm really off the map or I'm staying pretty close. So, I'm going to dive into it. Like I said, we're doing this live on Facebook. If you got any questions, put them in the comments. I'll see them there. I'll answer them as we go along. I always like comments because if not, I just kind of go with my agenda and I talk about whatever I want to. So, follow along. So, this off-season programs, what I like to do with athletes, especially like even my one-on-ones, usually they kind of go in an off-season program mode. Some want more fine-tuning than others, and that's okay. We work and I kind of find a good arrangement that works best for them. But like when I open up my online club program, and it has an off-season component to it, and a race-specific component to it, it's either you finished or you want to finish your first 70.3 or full Ironman, or maybe you even want to get better. Maybe you did your first Ironman at Tulsa or Des Moines this year, and you're like, it was okay, and Des Moines was 100 degrees, so I think I can do better at a different race, a different time of year. I know Tulsa has been usually in the 70s. It rained in 21, and I think for 22 it was pretty nice weather, and I think it was a little windy, but nothing horrible other than that. So, maybe you did one, and it just wasn't a good experience. Maybe you did 70.3 Des Moines in 21, and, we got short on the bike course, and it got super hot on the run, and it just was not, I think, a good indicator of how best people could perform. So maybe you just want redemption. Maybe you didn't get that full 70.3 or full Ironman race. The swim got canceled or something like that. So this program will help you, and we don't want malware installs. So this program will help you kind of bridge that gap. Like instead of just starting over from scratch and then trying to ramp all the way back up, it catches you kind of still a little bit of fitness left over from the season, and you can build on that and be at a higher plateau when you start your race-specific training. So instead of starting here, you're starting here, and it makes training a little bit more palatable, a little bit more easy, if you will. Maybe not easy, but you'll be able to get more out of it, I think, and more better adaptations and feel better on race day. So I'm going to go through sign up to finish line is kind of how I present this is you're going to sign up for the race and how you're going to get to the finish line. So these are the 4 keys I would see. And if you've done a full Ironman or 70.3 before, this is a good reminder. Number 1, have a plan. So I'm going to use Ironman Tulsa as an example. So have a plan, whether it be just for the race-specific plan or an off-season and a race-specific. What I like to see, if you go to Ironman Tulsa, it is May 21st of 2023, so well out in advance. We're looking at September, October, November, December, so like 10 months out. So my race-specific plans for a full Ironman race is 24 weeks, and usually like $25 or something like that. So this would be like a beginner plan, a little less running. So I've developed different plans based on different needs and everything. So maybe if you have an injury or you just don't like running as much, or you're playing. But this focuses on basically 6 months of race-specific training. So you're training for the course. It's a tough bike ride. The run's pretty flat. The swim is pretty non-eventful. I mean, there's a little bit of a current, but I mean, it's in a lake and it's usually relatively calm. So nothing big on that. So it addresses those race concerns and catches you at your beginner program. Maybe you already did a full Ironman and you're just not ready to move up to like an intermediate that has a little bit more intensity to it, maybe a little bit more volume. So this is a good 6-week program, but if it's 10 months away and you're using 6 months of this program, you still got 4 months of what do I do with my time? Do I get ready? Do I do anything? Do I just kind of go out for a few jogs and a few runs or something like that? Well, off-season programs, I've revamped them all for this year, and they are down to 5 months apiece. I used to have 6 months, and that seemed a little bit long for some people just for 6 months to keep plugging away at it. 5 months is I think kind of a good number, especially if you got a later race, you're doing Coeur d'Alene, the full out there again in 2023. You got a little bit more time to work with. But for the off-season program, you can buy it and apply it. You can apply the race-specific. Once you buy it to like a Training Peaks plan, you buy it, and then you have the end date or the end of the plan on race day, so then it backs it all up in Training Peaks, and then you can go to your off season and apply it to where that plan ends. And you might have a little bit, like there might be a month or two where you don't use, and it just shows up red in your Training Peaks, or you can delete it or whatever you want. But it gives you a good starting point to say, hey, this is kind of where I need to be at in order to hit this main program in a good ready state. And like I said, I mean, you could go through here and be like, I don't want to do this workout for today in zone 2 for an hour. It's like, I ain't got time for that. I got to go Christmas shopping, or we got to get ready for Thanksgiving or something like that. So it's not set in stone, but it kind of gives you a good guidance. And, I bring up Tulsa as an example, but I mean, I've got so many training plans in here. I've got off season for 70.3, Ironman, Olympics, sprint distance. I got stuff in here for Des Moines 70.3, Des Moines full, 70.3 Oregon. Steelhead, Atlantic City, Ohio, 7.3 Ohio, Waco, the half, the full. I got all kinds of, and I've got like 6-week programs that I made kind of during the COVID, when people kind of had a little bit of a pause when they didn't know what they were doing when they were pushing back race dates before they just straight up canceled them. So it's like 6-week programs, maybe you have a little bit of gap and it's something to do. So go through, check out all the programs. Man, I'm scrolling through and I got tons on there in Training Peaks. So definitely go to that. I'll put the link here in the comments so you can see that here on Facebook. And I'll put the comments in later. If I put this on YouTube, I'll put that in the comments as well for that link. So this is all my race plans that I make for all the races and everything. I keep adding more every year. I keep updating my workouts and everything. So Ironman Tulsa, you get a plan for the race, you get a plan for the off season. If you've got number 1 checked off. Number 2, know the course. So you can go in here and you can read Ironman, swim the lake, bike hilly, and run as flat. Generally, yeah, that's pretty close. Some of these races they get in here and they're like, there's no way. This is rolling hills. This is not flat, or this is hilly. This is not hilly. You can go in the course information. You can look at the maps, and I've done this before. I've looked at maps and because I've got athletes doing races I've never done before, but I've done the full out in Tulsa. I've coached different athletes to it. They've changed the bike course a few times, but the run course is pretty much the same. Swim course is pretty much, well, I'll take that back. The swim course has changed a little bit to be kind of a less of a situation. They had the start and the finish of the swim in the same place in 22, so hopefully that stays in 23. It's kind of nice. You don't have to walk over a mile to go get to the swim start. But anyway, so you can go to the course all you want. You can find out the information. It's great information to have. athletes, they still got the athlete guides. They got the 22 guides in there right now. 20, 22, 23 coming soon. So they, 6 to 10 weeks before an event, and maybe even less, they publish all the guides and everything. So that's good to get that information from Ironman, what they think is important. They got the race director's input and all that kind of good stuff. But what I've been doing is I've made courses. I'm going to use Tulsa as an example. So members in my online club get access to this course. And you see I've got, let's see if I can show you the course overview. 0% complete, start next lesson. They're going to show me complete. I didn't really do this. Just see if it'll show up here in the window. Live on Facebook is always good times. But look, I mean, you look through here, module 1. I've got several little key points in this first module. Module 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'm going to go through and I'm adding, I've got interviews with athletes that have done this race in the past. I did the race, so I've got information on here. I go back and I update if the course is a little bit different, if things were a little bit different. What you should be doing at different times in the race. 2 to 3 weeks out from Tulsa. If you look, I made these recordings a couple of years ago, and this past year I keep updating them. And Tulsa's in May. Here in Kansas City in March and April, we'll start getting snow, and it's still cold. So here you can see I was outside doing a video. Maybe my kids are inside or something like that. But anyway. So, if you go back, I've got courses for Tulsa, I've got them for Texas, I'm adding them for Chattanooga, I've got them 70.3 Des Moines, I got Florida, Texas, like I said, I'm in Chattanooga, I'm going to add Memphis, Oregon, all these different races I've either done or had athletes that have done them. I get insider information, so I've made up these courses, so it's tailored information specifically for this course. So it's not just hearsay, it's not going on Facebook and being like, oh, what did Joe say about it, what did Bob say about it. It's what did an Ironman certified coach and a USAT coach, and I've been coaching since 2012, been racing since 2004, first Ironman 2013. What do you think about this course? I'm getting ready to do Ironman number 11 and 12 this year. So I've done a few, I've been around the block, I've been there for late starts, I've been there for swim cancels, all kinds of good stuff, point-to-point transitions, double transitions, point-to-point finish and starts, all, you name it, I've done several of it. I did Ironman Florida when it got moved to Haines City because of a hurricane at the last minute. I've been through that. That was quite a ordeal and an interesting situation. So I've been through a lot, and I put in tips in here to kind of help you, and specifically for Tulsa. It's not just a general, well, here's how you pack for this, that, and the other. It's like, Tulsa, where should you stay? Here's where I stayed. What did I think about it? How did I get around? Where did I park in race morning? Where did I put my keys? Where did I put my phone? All this kind of stuff I put in this course information. So that's there to help you out, and it's a little bit more deep dive than what you can get on the sites and the Facebook pages. So keep that in mind. So that checks off number 2. Know the course. So you've signed up, you've got a training plan, and you know kind of what you're going to be facing on race day. Number 3, how to execute the plan. So a lot of people, you get your plan and you got it's like, okay, a bike ride, what am I doing? It says power intervals. It says I need to be weighing myself before and after. What am I doing with all this information? So my athletes and people that sign up for the courses and for the online club get access to all these different little files, things I've developed over the years to help me, help them. We get discounts for all the partners and stuff. That's kind of a staple these days. Facebook page, educational content. So all my tip videos I've organized into different groupings. See if that'll show up here. So member videos, they're all on YouTube for the most part, but I've centralized them all to specific information and kind of put them there, like for cycling and that type of thing. So you can go through and you can see individual tips for different things for cycling and all this other stuff, and it's going to take a minute to load, so we're going to go back to here. So triathlon, travel, and gear checklist. So if you want a gear checklist, if you want a travel checklist, this is where you can get it from. 2018 workouts, I'm going to change that. I've updated that to basically any workout I've made in Training Peaks. I export them to files. I have Zwift files. I have all kinds of good information you can get in there that you can export files. You can see PDFs of them, print them out, do whatever you want with them. Tips list, I'm adding, I got 2019, 2020, 2021 I'm putting in there. So I got 3 years basically of a tip per week. So 52 tips for 3 years I'm going to put in here. That's going to be updated here pretty shortly. So any tip you've seen on Facebook, you can go there and see it, and it can be easy reading for bedtime to help get you to sleep. So then you can drift off to sleep thinking about triathlon and the lifestyle. So that's good stuff right there. Fitness testing protocols, so swim test, run test, bike test, and then what you should do with it, zone calculators, and a tracking spreadsheet. So some of my athletes, I've had them for 6 or 7 years, and we've done periodic testing of fitness because in the off season maybe they don't do as much, so we need to reset their zones. Maybe they did do a lot over the season, so we need to reset their zones too, to make sure they're training appropriately, make sure things aren't too easy or too hard. This tracking spreadsheet tracks it over years. You could put so many, I think I've put up like 20 different spaces, and if you're good with spreadsheets, you can just tack on more and keep adding them. They've got nice little graphs that show you over time what your fitness is doing. So it's, I think, great information to have, especially if you've got 7 or 8 years worth of information you can look back on. It's good stuff. Race day game planner, so kind of what you should be thinking about on race day. We don't always think about it. We just go to check-in, we kind of look at the course, maybe go to an athlete briefing, and we're like, okay, I think I'm good to go. There's a few extra things, look where the buoys are at, ask questions you can hear about in the athlete briefing. Maybe go to a later athlete briefing because maybe they've asked more important questions later on. So just things like that, things to think about on race day or before race day that you have in your mind, so it's, you're not going there and you're just not overwhelmed. You know what you're doing, you have a plan. Sweat rate and nutrition calculator, just added this, so waiting before and after runs and bikes to find out how much fluid you're losing, and just to figure out how much nutrition am I really eating. If you've been to an Ironman race and you've seen some of the bikes, they've got like 20 goos taped to the top tube of the front bike frame. So that is 20 times 100 calories. That's 2,000 calories. So depending on when you eat that, that might not be a pretty situation later on. And if you do eat them all, it might not be pretty as well. So this calculator kind of spreads it over time, helps you figure out maybe you're doing more solids towards the beginning of a bike ride and maybe goos towards the end. You're figuring out, even if you're on the run, don't forget, like endurance Gatorade adds calories, adds sodium, adds everything, adds carbs. So it takes into account everything, nutrition, hydration, and make sure you're not looking at a situation where you're undernourished or you're overnourished and you have GI distress, and it's not as fun. Like, it's the same amount of fun as being a bonking on the run. Having GI distress in the porta potties is not fun. Bonking on the run is not fun. So sweat rate nutrition calculator will help you stave off that and be aware of where you should be at. So that is tools and how to execute the plan. So in these course videos and everything, this is how to execute the plan. So instructional cycling, swimming, running, planning, nutrition, training, race day, get the Kona if you're after that, stress-free traveling for triathlons, running, biking, swimming gear. So all this stuff you might have questions about, I've probably made a video about, and you can go through and look through all of them. It did pull it up, so it's on a nice little carousel. You can just cycle through and watch whatever you want. You can hear me talk. If you love hearing me talk, you can just hear me talk some more. So right now I'm looking, I don't see any questions or anything like that in the live. So if you got any questions, put them in there before I get wrapped up here. So have a plan, know the course, how to execute the plan. So that's the member videos and training tips and everything. And plus, I'm in the Facebook groups. You can always ask me questions. And then tools to efficiently execute the plan, and that is more of the files for the members. So all this kind of information comes in tools to efficiently execute the plan. So this is kind of your outline. So if you don't do anything, at least come away from this little video with this information here. Sign up to the finish line. What kind of the 4 things you kind of need the most in order to get from signing up to the finish line on race day successfully and have a good day. If you don't come out with anything, come out with that. Or if you do come away with anything, come away with that at the minimum. But if you want to take it one step further, and I'll put this link in the comments, you can go to setthepacetriathlon.com, or more specifically, you can go /STP member sign up. So that is my online club I open up once a year because it does kind of take away from coaching my athletes. It takes away from making my plans for athletes. And right now I'm working to get that in the comments so you can see that if you are watching live. So that should be pulled up in your comments. So you could do it a couple different ways. You could go to pacetriathlon.com. You should see in the top banner, pulls up. Tri Club sign up is open, and it's only open until next Tuesday, September 20th, 2022 at 2 p.m. Central Time, because I'm going out and doing Ironman Chattanooga, and I don't really have time to stay on top of the situation, so I gotta close it before I go, and that's just that. So, if you look through here, this has got all the information. I kind of went through all the different little things it's got. You get a sweet hat, which I'm wearing one now. I had a nice example, and I didn't bring it with me down here in the World Headquarters to do my video. So as you can see, and you get discounts, like all these training plans, I give you 50% off codes. So instead of 25 bucks, it's like 12 bucks. So every little bit helps for triathlon. You get a hat, you get all these, you get links to all this information. You get access to the member side of my website, a little bit more information on me. So I calculated out, it's like $900 for like 85 bucks for sign up, and then you get a code for the first 6 months of the membership for $1 a month. So it's like $6 for 6 months. And after that, if you can close it out and not pay anymore, or it goes to $9.99 a month, and you stay in there. I make videos, I make more race plans, I make more tips, I update. I'm adding more courses, like I said. I'm adding courses in there, jumping on Training Peaks and getting a plan. If you've never been in Training Peaks before, I'm going to make a course on there that you get into Training Peaks. You can understand kind of at least how I do it, how I set it up, so you can get in there and not be totally lost. So this is kind of a gap filler for the people that either don't want or can't afford a full-time coach, a full one-on-one coach, because it is expensive. And, you know, since this is my livelihood, you know, we've got to charge a rate that we can live off of and we supply for our family. But there's also, if maybe you just don't need that, maybe you just need the tools. Like, I'm self-sufficient enough, I think I can be resourceful enough, but if I had some tools, they're already pre-made, so I don't have to sit here and come up with 24 weeks of training on my own. I don't have to spend that time. You got an off-season plan and a race-specific plan. And once you buy them out of Training Peaks, you can keep them in there and reuse them year after year. So if this was a great plan and did the best for you, boom, carbon copy it over for the next race or something like that. You know, maybe the Tulsa plan is specific and applicable to another race. So that right there is kind of what I wanted to go over. Like I said, I mean, if you don't join the club or anything like that, at least know these 4 steps. Have a plan, know the course, how to execute the plan, the tools to efficiently execute the plan. So if you're executing the plan and you're kind of all over the place, it's kind of a waste of time sometimes. Make sure you're on the plan. But if you need that little extra boost, and like I said, you can sign up, you at least get the hat, you get discount codes. So even if you like cancel the subscription to the membership later on after it runs out $1 per month, and you're like, nah, I think I'm good. I mean, I think you get enough value out of it that it's really kind of more than pays for itself. But like I said, this is kind of my bridge offering to any athletes out there that maybe I'm not coaching one-on-one, or they want a little bit more hands-on, just a little bit more, but not totally one-on-one hands-on. This kind of helps out too. So I put the comments in the comments of the video here live. I didn't see any questions or anything like that, so I'm going to wrap it up. And I may post this later, may share it on Facebook, may share it on YouTube, all that kind of good stuff. So you got comments later, put them in there. I'm going to go back and put those in the comments as well, so you can go to them and visit the off-season program. Like I said, it does close, let's see, September 20th, 2022, 2 p.m. Central Time. I'm closing off for the year. I only open it up once a year because it does take a lot of time to get all the stuff prepped and ready and looking nice for you guys. And there's a little bit more of a manual back end side of it for me, and it takes away from, you know, coaching athletes specifically and my training, all that kind of fun stuff, family. So try to condense it into kind of 1 week, focus it all there, and get you guys all ready to get ready for 2023 in the spring. I mean, it's already here. I mean, we're in September 14th at the time of this recording of 2022. Races are happening. Pandemic's kind of subsided. It's not a deal anymore. Races are going to be there. Ironman still exists. Ironman races are still going to happen. 70.3 races are going to happen. It's going to happen. So make sure you're ready. Don't just sign up for a race and then, like, January, you're like, oh, crap. I better, like, figure out something because I'm not going to be ready. You don't want to do that. You don't want to be one of those people that post on Facebook, I didn't really know what was going on about it's 2 months out. You know, I'm wondering if I can, like, start my training and get in and be ready for race day. Don't be one of those people. Please buy a plan. Kind of know where you're supposed to be at. So with that, I want to wrap it up. Close out today's video. Stay tuned. If this helped you out, hit the like button. If you want more information, hit the links that I put in the comments. If you need anything else, put it in the comments. I'll get back to you with that. happy training. I'll see you on race day. If you're on Ironman Chattanooga, look for me at the Become One tent. I'll be out there. If you have any questions about Ironman Chattanooga, this would be my 4th time doing that race. It'd be Ironman number 11. Look for number 12 at Florida. So if you're going to Florida too, I'll be out there as well. So anyway, wrap it up. Good training out there, and we'll see you on race day.